I have an episode coming out about statins and if it's ideal to take, how statins are recommended when you have cholesterol that's above 190 milligrams per deciliter. I wanted to talk through why cholesterol is important and what are maybe ideal cholesterol markers. I now eat a lot of meat, and so do they. If you want to thrive, you need to eat meat. Meat is required. Hey guys, my name is Judy Cho and I'm board certified in holistic nutrition. And I have a private functional medicine practice where we focus on root cause healing. And that often starts with the Carnivore Cures all meat elimination diet. So I have an episode coming out about statin use. And I didn't get too into the cholesterol portion of why we even take statins or why we are recommended statins. But I think the cholesterol discussion is really important. And one of the reasons I shared the whole statin conversation is because there are some graphics that I realize I can't share in Inflammation Fix, which is my next book, because they are copyrighted. And so my workaround is to share it with you guys this way. In 1961, Dr. Ansel Keys was on the Time magazine cover. He's the one that did the 7-country studies, sharing that saturated fats are the culprit of clogged arteries and what causes heart disease. And then in 53 years, Time magazine also shared a cover story about eating butter and that scientists were actually wrong about saturated fats, that they don't cause heart disease after all. And saturated fats are mostly from animal fats, such as butter, tallow, lard, and then obviously coconut oil as well. But most of the saturated fats are from animal products. So if the experts were wrong about saturated fats causing heart disease, then you can watch my episode on why statins may not be as ideal and what the evidence shows about statins, what it could do nutritionally, and how Lipitor and other statin companies used really smart statistical marketing to get their products sold and to ultimately become the billion-dollar most sold medication in the world. And even though Time magazine covers share that the researchers and the scientists were wrong about saturated fats causing heart disease, there's still that stigma. People are still scared when they see their lab results, especially if following a carnivore diet. And so let's talk through some of that. In 2015, they removed the upper limits on dietary cholesterol levels. So back in the day, before 2015, all the dietary guidelines recommended that you should only eat like 2 eggs a day because of your cholesterol levels and the risk of cardiovascular disease. They removed that in 2015, 2020 dietary guidelines because there was really no evidence of dietary cholesterol and cardiovascular disease. And yet there was not really much marketing or news sharing of this information. Additionally, there are risks with low cholesterol. In The Lancet in 2001, they wrote, our data accords with previous findings of increased mortality in elderly people with low serum cholesterol and shows that long-term persistence of low cholesterol actually increases the risk of death. Thus, the earlier the patients start to have lower cholesterol concentrations, the greater the risk of death. I recommend pausing this if you want to read through all the different benefits of cholesterol. Cholesterol is produced by almost every cell in the body. And so, yes, most of the cholesterol that our body uses, 60 to 80% is actually produced within the body. So your body, any nutrients it gets, it uses that energy to produce cholesterol. So if cholesterol was so bad, why would your body be making a toxic substance? Additionally, almost every cell in your body, the outer layer is made of fat. And the reason it does that is to protect what goes in and out of the cell, because your cell is what makes up your body, what produces energy. And so it is a protective mechanism. Cholesterol is used to repair parts of the body. So in cardiovascular risk, you'll see cholesterol there because it's trying to repair the arteries. It's trying to repair any of the tears and irritations. It's there because it's supporting you and not because it's the culprit of the heart disease or the tears. And then bile salts, which are also produced by cholesterol, is what allows you to break down fat and digest and absorb it. Digest and absorb vitamin A, D, E, and K are the fat-soluble vitamins. And you also need bile to remove the fat-soluble toxins that we are exposed to so then we can poop it out. So without enough bile salts, you would be removing immune function, detox, and then being able to absorb these nutrients. All our steroid hormones are produced by cholesterol. So again, 70 to 80% of our cholesterol is produced within the body. And it's because we need it for cortisol, we need it for aldosterone or the mineral balances, we need it for all of our sex hormones. And so when we have a lush amount of cholesterol, we are producing enough in our body, and then separately we are consuming enough to have an abundance. We will have our periods, we will be able to be fertile, we will have a good balance of, even if we're stressed, we can manage it because we have a good balance of cortisol. And then all of our sex hormones, again, are produced by cholesterol. So if we don't have sufficient cholesterol, your body's going to produce more cortisol because it allows you to survive another day. You don't need to make babies. You don't need to have sex hormones. You don't need to have a lot of those to survive another day. That doesn't give you optimal health. But again, it just shows you how important cholesterol is. There was a study that compared 164 countries. And this data was from the BHF Heart Stats and the WHO World Health Organization mortality. But what it shared from these 164 countries is that for all-cause mortality, so for all reasons that people died, they found that the lowest all-cause mortality of total cholesterol was between 220, probably like 220 and 225 for total cholesterol, which is actually higher than the amounts that our standard care would recommend for our total cholesterol levels. So again, we are, and as it says up here, cholesterol in the range of 200 to 240 had the lowest all-cause mortality. So while we have been taught to be scared of cholesterol and that butter, animal fats, fatty red meat is going to give us a heart attack, the data, the research is showing otherwise. In 2020, the dietary guidelines removed upper limits of cholesterol because there was no scientific evidence that dietary cholesterol caused heart disease. Additionally, 70 to 80% of your cholesterol is produced within your body. So why would your body produce a toxic substance? Mind you, your brain is 60% cholesterol. So why would your brain and your body produce all this cholesterol, but that it's so toxic for your system? And then of 164 countries, they find that the lowest all-cause mortality for cholesterol levels was 200 to 240. In the statin episode, I talk about what markers to test, the NMR panel to look at if you are worried about cardiovascular disease. But in this episode, I'm going to talk about what are ideal cholesterol levels. And this is after us probably running over 2,000, maybe a little bit less than that, cholesterol labs, or have seen it from their doctors in our private practice. And most of the people we work with are following a ketogenic, a meat-based, or a carnivore diet. We do not work with people that are plant-based. I think we had 2 people. We did suggest eating meat, but that's besides the point. So in our research, what we found is that a total cholesterol of at minimum should be 200. And then for mental and hormonal health, remember all of your steroid hormones are produced by cholesterol. You want it between 180 and 200. I think it should be probably a little bit above that. Triglycerides. I know in the carnivore community, for some reason, we think the lower the better, but that is actually not true. But we see people with triglycerides in the 40s, the 50s, and I don't think that's ideal as well. We tend to see a correlation with people that are under eating or that are under eating fat that have those super low triglycerides. We like to see triglycerides 70s to 90s because that to me is indicative that this person is eating sufficiently, eating sufficient fat. And then if your triglycerides are above 100, it really depends on where you started. If your triglycerides were in the 200s or 150 and now it's at 110 and you're on a carnivore diet, I consider that a win. So context matters. But if you are seeing your triglycerides stay in the low hundreds and you've been eating carnivore for a while or meat-based or low carb, it could be that you're eating too much liquid fats or rendered fats. And it's often that you might be eating more fat than your body can process. And it might just be that you need some digestive supports, bile salts, ox bile, digestive enzymes, even hydrochloric acid. And that may help reduce the triglycerides level. But You don't want your triglycerides too high. Sometimes we also see it if people are drinking alcohol or they're still eating carbs or fruits. HDL, I like to see it between 60 and 85 milligrams per deciliter. Some people, they will be a little bit on the lower range than that, maybe 55. And it's because they just have a familial lower HDL. And overall, with all their other blood markers and their symptoms, it may be okay. You don't want your HDL to be too high either, because that means that your body is also compensating for something. So maybe you have excess inflammation in your body. And so your body will produce more HDL to get that inflammation balanced or to band-aid it. But ideally, you don't want it above 85 because your body is compensating at a range that is actually not normal. So just to sum up, total cholesterol above 200 is ideal. LDL then it's a mathematical equation. So if your HDL is between 60 to 85, triglycerides are between 70 to 100. We usually see it around 80 and above. You don't want it above 100 too, because that means that you just have a lot of floating fat in your blood. And then your LDL would fall above 120, 130. But I know in the carnivore community, it's a lot higher than that. So we don't really look at LDL specifically. We look at the other markers to kind of tell what's going on. But I do want to make a note about if you have low cholesterol. Hey guys, just a really quick break. Nutrition with Judy's private practice is now called Empower Functional Health. I started as a nutritional therapist, but we have become much more all-encompassing. At Empower Functional Health, we do functional medicine, chronic illness, autoimmune, gut health, environmental illness such as SIRS, mold illness, Lyme. Regardless of all these names, the goal for us is always to get you root cause healing answers. And of course, carnivore, the all meat elimination diet, is always on the table. Food, the right food, is always medicine. We offer functional tests, prescription meds, and really everything to get you closer to root cause, where you can just eat the meats you enjoy and live the life that you are meant to symptom-free. The goal is to get off meds, supplements, and everything else that your body no longer needs support in. Our practice, whether it's Nutrition with Judy, sharing podcasts and free content, or our private practice, Empower Functional Health, our goal is to support you guys in the barbell theory. We give a lot of free content, our evidence-based research. We don't use Substack. We give all our stuff away for free. We interview with the best and make it super tactical, so you have clinical pearls that you can walk away with and try in your own healing journey. And then we work with some people in a smaller subset, one-on-one, to provide that level of personalized care. And as we heal these people that are chronically ill, we find these clinical pearls and golden nuggets that we can share then more publicly so that we can make wellness for all. Hopefully, the content and the guides and the free stuff we give out is enough for you to heal. But if it's not, you can always come and work with us in our private practice so that you can get more personalized care. If you want to learn more, make sure to check out empowerfunctionalhealth.com. In my interview with Dr. James Greenblatt, we talked about low cholesterol and the risk of harming yourself from wanting to not be alive anymore. And so these things really matter. I think Dr. Greenblatt said anything below a total cholesterol of 180 is risky. And then 160, your risk begins to rise in terms of mood instability, depression, anxiety. I think below 140, the risk is even much greater. And then from there, for every 10 milligrams per deciliter drop in total cholesterol, the increase of wanting to not live anymore was 18%. And I will put that study in the notes. We really need to be mindful of our cholesterol levels. That is why when we are taking binders that also reduce our cholesterol, we need to be super mindful that our cholesterol is not dropping too low, because some of the symptoms of brain fog in having too low of cholesterol is also very similar to somebody with mold illness. So in our practice, we actually will not give the binder if your cholesterol is too low. And people hate that, but I'm sorry, I care more about your health than to just say, sure, here is medication that we're going to give you. I am all about common sense. And one of the reasons I wanted to share about the cholesterol is I struggled with depression myself. And I find that as I'm writing the book, that Lipitor and the statin drug companies have cholesterol reducing medication for children starting at the age of 8. And there might be children even younger than that that can get on a statin. Why? Our brain is 60% cholesterol or 60% fat. Most of our cells are lined by fats. Our sex hormones, our mineral balance hormones, our cortisol or our stress hormones are also created by cholesterol. So when we eat low fat or we eat just seed oil fats or we take medications that reduce our cholesterol, what are we doing to our bodies, our mood, our hormones? What is this signaling? Because that's what a hormone is. It's just signaling and sending messages to the rest of the body to do certain things. So when we are reducing that, what is it telling the rest of the body? If our cells are lined with cholesterol and then we are stripping the cholesterol to reduce it by any of these statins or medications, what is that doing to our body? There's something called the cell danger response, where if your cells feel that it's in danger, it will reduce capacity and it'll basically go into hibernation to protect you through this, hopefully, moment that'll pass. But if you have chronic illness and you have low cholesterol because of your diet or because of medications you're taking, what does that do to the cell danger response? If all of your cells think that you need to be in hibernation, how can you improve from fatigue? How can you improve from chronic illness if your body is trying to shut down to protect you? So we need to have adequate levels of cholesterol. I will never know for sure, but when I was a plant-based dieter for over a decade, my cholesterol levels were within the normal range, but on the lower end. But I struggled with an eating disorder and major depression. And how much of that was because I was eating a low-fat plant-based diet? And how much of my binges or the desire to go eat all this junk was because my body was craving fat? And so if the only thing I'll feed it is junk food fats like seed oils and processed oils, then so be it, because my body is just trying to survive another day. I'll never know for sure. But if I can help one extra person not eat low fat, then I'm game. If you want healthy moods and healthy hormones, you have to have adequate amounts of cholesterol and an abundance, actually. And one way we can do that in our stressed out world is to consume more dietary fats, especially animal fats. If you worry about increasing cholesterol levels on a carnivore diet, context really matters. Look at your cholesterol levels. In the statin episode, I talk about the NMR panel, but you want to also see and make sure that your LDL particles are the big buoyant ones, not the small ones, the small dense lipoproteins, because they're just more risky for cardiovascular events. So it's not that all cholesterol is good. There are some that can be not so ideal, but context really matters. But it is not this broad brushed answer that saturated fats cause high cholesterol and high cholesterol causes cardiovascular disease, because that is not true. And it has been debunked that the dietary guidelines no longer have upper limits on dietary cholesterol. The Time magazine is saying that the researchers were wrong, yet we are still following these recommendations. So I hope, if anything, that this video shares and gives you some solace or context into what ideal cholesterol levels should be, because based on 164 countries of all-cause mortality, total cholesterol between 200 to 240 was the best for the lowest death rates. And in fact, in the Lancet, they shared that elderly people with lower cholesterol had a higher risk of dying. And it kind of makes sense. Why would your body use so much of its energy to make cholesterol 70 to 80% of the cholesterol needs within the body if it was so toxic for you? Just something to think about. Okay, guys, make sure to eat a lot of meat. Take care of your bodies, because it is the only place you have to live. I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.